So Alan Shearer's claimed that big clubs are disrespecting their fans by robbing them of a FA Cup run or whatever. We like to talk. Alan Shearer often comes out with things. It's not the first time we've discussed something Alan Shearer said on the show. You know, let's carry on with that. The human egg himself. Do we agree with this? Are clubs cheating the fans out of these FA Cup runs by not putting strong teams out? Flav, how strong did Spurs go? Because
strong enough to not have to struggle like we did against Wickham, but I mean, it's not about. It's just a fucking. It's another sort of soundbite. Oh, Alan Shearer said this, therefore we have to listen to it and talk about it because.
Cheers, Paul.
Paul, no, it isn't you. It's been discussed everywhere, and every season we have this same stupid conversation. It's not a disrespecting of the FA Cup. The game has changed. Yeah. If you want to talk about who's responsible for disrespecting the FA Cup, it's TV companies that are constantly changing fixtures, which mean there are no legitimate and real break between FA Cup and league games. So we can't rest players. Or you can't, use your first team when you've got a game in 2 days' time against Sunderland away or Chelsea. Well, how are you going to go out there and play your first team squad when you've got the hardest game of the season, a home game of the season against Chelsea? So who's really at fault? Is it managers for using their squad and blooding young players in these games? Or is it Sky Sports for trying to make the most amount of money or BT Sport or whoever it is?
It's one of them, isn't it? I tend to look at it, Ped, and I think Liverpool if Liverpool had gone with a better team, we might have progressed through this competition a little bit more. And the teams that take the cup seriously tend to be the ones that fare best in them. But equally, I want to see young players get a game for Liverpool as well. And look, at the top end of the Premier League, every point is so valuable. And look, I remember David Moyes saying it years ago about Everton. He basically said, you can't put kids in because kids cost you points. So you have to have bottle to put kids into games.
Well, number one, 5 of the top 6 are still in the FA Cup, aren't they? Just that one solitary team in the top 6, letting the top 6 down. And you're right. but the other flip side of that is, what does Alan Shearer think about England and the lack of English players developing? The FA Cup has given people a chance. And Flav's absolutely right. I'm in favour of a winter break. Yeah. Absolutely. Not over Christmas. The first 2 weeks in January. And forget all this nonsense where people go, dude, fuck off to Dubai or whatever.
You get paid loads of money.
They go to Dubai on tour. So what? If they're still going to be relaxing for a week or not having that pressure of the next game and the training that goes with it. Because, a lot of clubs train as hard as they play. That you have to nowadays. So I would be in favour of a couple of weeks off and just try and recharge the batteries physically and mentally, and then come back for the FA Cup and be up for the FA Cup. But as Flav said, it's not easy.
The problem with Shearer being the mouthpiece is that he's not
Chris Sutton.
He isn't Chris Sutton. But it's a much more nuanced subject than just saying teams should be playing more, their first team. There's much more to it. It's a problem that's intrinsic to the game now. So Alan Shearer isn't the person that needs to be tackling this subject.
What do you reckon, Jay?
I think I kind of mirror what Ped said, to be honest. I think we play too much football. Not only have we got the FA Cup and the league, if that's the Premier League or the Championship, you've also got the FA Cup and the EFL Cup. Just too much football. At the end of the day, if you're exerting yourself to such an extent twice a week, then training with probably 1 day off, then what do you expect to happen? Teams are going to get burnt out. You get mentally complacent. So it's just I think the best person who said it was Alex Ferguson. He said, what do you expect when you sell your soul to the devil? The devil being the TV companies and that. And that's completely right. What do you expect? Yeah. I think
it's everything, isn't it? Like, look at the FA Cup, and I'm not the first person to say this, but it's right. Is that I actually don't even know when the FA Cup finals played this season. This might have changed, but having the FA Cup at the end of the season, making it your showpiece. Well, whereas now, how many times you come to the back end of the season, those big FA Cup games, and you're thinking, we need to win the next game. Yeah. But here's an example: you're fifth in the Premier League, and and 3 points in the next game. Or you win the FA Cup, you give your fans a day out, which we all want as fans. We all want to lift silverware. They're the things that you tell your kids about. They're the memories you carry with you throughout your life. But the difference between being in the Champions League and not being in the Champions League is such a chasm in terms of the finance and everything. There's that knock-on effect of the pool of players you're able to buy, etc., etc. Who the fuck is choosing to win the FA Cup over being able to go 100% full strength to go and finish in the top four? And that's, I'm not saying I like that that's a reality, but that is the reality.
The fans, as fans, you're in an enviable position compared to, say, an employee of a football club. The manager has to really choose what he's prioritising. Most can't just have a squad capable of competing on all fronts, not even Man City. So, as fans, we go, I want an FA Cup and I want to qualify for the Champions League. And I want a title challenge as well. But I don't have to think about that. But what I would say is Wickham beating them in them last minute and breaking all their little hearts, that felt as good as any Premier League win. I swear to God, it felt amazing. When I was jumping up all over the place.
I'll be honest with you, when we were piling forward at the end of the game of the weekend against Wolves, Championship Wolves, an equaliser, I'd have been ecstatic.
The other thing about it is that January is that month, isn't it? You've just had a really tough Christmas period, and it is where players really are desperate to recharge the batteries. You're looking to bring new players in, and that's the difficulty. It's
sorry, what? New
now?
Players in January. What? You meant you're allowed to bring players?
You are, yeah. You are. You're allowed to spend more money than anyone else.
That could be a tough.
Wow, when did that happen? It's just a tough month. It's just a tough month.
Yeah, the whole.
Also, can I ask you this question as well? What the fuck is this thing with the FA Cup about not having replays? It used to be the semis. Now it's the quarters. Why don't they just make that uniform all the way through it?
Yeah.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
Having a tournament that.
Because the third and fourth rounds still have that magic thing where, Sutton United could, and all this, where a team can take another team to go and play the other, and it's a big payday for them.
It's a payday. Yeah. That's the fucking key to it. It's a payday. Start paying those clubs what they deserve for one round, and just say, listen, because there's no replays, we're gonna give you a big fat wedge and look after you, and especially if you're on TV, and that. I'm not saying that should be because you looked at yesterday that game. I think the one where Alan Pardew, Alan Pardew was just yawning all the time. Sutton, yeah. You just wonder if the chairman was thinking, I'd love Leeds to get a last minute equaliser here, get to Ellen Park, get the payday, happy days, because we need to rip this fucking 3G pitch up at the end of the season if we go up. You just wonder that sometimes.
Well, they put a picture out the next day, didn't they, of the leak in the ceiling, they had a bucket and saying this meant a load to us because the club's obviously fallen to bits and what have you. I get all that, but I think
the point to make is that football's not just about packing stadiums these days. Flav, for example, Spurs, they're getting a brand new stadium, 60,000 seats, I think, in it. You're going to fill 60,000 seats and fill all the corporate boxes and all the sponsorship boxes with individuals. If you're in a Champions League tie, then you are if you're playing Wickham. And that's the be-all and end-all of it. And that's the unfortunate...
When are we going to have a discussion about this thing at Spurs, by the way?
You're talking about the microbrewery?
No, the tunnel seats.
Yeah.
Tunnel seats.
Well, maybe we'll do that in a close.
That is.
But the thing about the FA, the thing about we're ultimately coming down to it. What's cheating? Look, clubs could take the FA Cup more seriously, but the problem is the way football has gone. We've put the Premier League above all else, and I would suspect that you probably win. The difference between 11th and 10th in the Premier League is probably worth almost as much money as actually winning the FA Cup. Yeah. And it's sad that it's not all about money, but ultimately we've created this world for ourselves. Is that what you're saying? We dance with the devil, and that's the result of it. The FA Cup has become a fucking joke of a competition because semi-finals at Wembley, so you've taken all the shine off going to Wembley for the start. As you say, bullshit replays in the most congested part of the season
as well. And
all the fucking all that.
Well, you go back to the last video. It's about being in the show. It's about being part of the Premier League. It's a thing of its own now. It's like, it doesn't even need a sponsor. It's got that brand name. It's like NFL. It's just it's almost becoming just that one thing. No
The
one
only-
else matters, no one else cares. So being in the FA Cup is just...
The only
we don't-
counterpoint, Ped, is just that I think Shearer's come off the back of like Newcastle travelling down to Oxford.
Yeah,
And,
twatted.
got beat 3-0, and you know it's those ones where it's those guys who
I do like them apples, Brian.
but it's those guys who are who live and breathe the club. They go home and away regardless of anything. They don't you know, they're the people that you're fucking over, and they're the people who really are football. They're the people who are the real fans of your club. The ones who do spend all the time and money and they go home and away, and they're the ones who are being ripped off more than anything. Because that's the only people, that's the only counterpart I can think to the whole thing. But again, I'm not sure that's entirely on the club. Again, is that on the FA for not having a better competition? I don't know.
Yeah, much wider. The issues aren't so simple as just to say it's about a club resting players. There's reasons for all of this, and like I said, the problem with Alan Shearer just spouting off, talking just top line bullshit is because he doesn't have any understanding. And sorry to say this, the main problem, like I said, is the TV companies moving fixtures for TV's sake. And Alan Shearer is directly, he makes money out of it.
I wondered if Alan Shearer had started his career at Man United, whether he would have a different... Because you got Gary Neville talking about, like he got his first opportunity as a kid playing in the Cups. Liverpool played 3 English teenagers in that game. One of them from 4. That's how 4 English teenagers got a look at that senior football for Liverpool. Might not have been the experience that they'll all look back on, but you never know.
You need that as a youngster, though, don't
Well,
you?
within a couple of years, they'll be on the other side of that, won't they?
They'll be playing for Wolves. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. But yeah, there you go.
The other thing I would say is that the other side of it is that if everyone went full pelt, played all their best players, then the team that won the Premier League would be the team that spent all the money at the end of the season.
Yeah.
So therefore, we'd all start asking the other question then. How are you going to win the Premier League without spending all the money?
Yeah.
And so it's... Something has to give.
Yeah.
And fuck Alan Shearer.
Sounds good to me.
That sounded just... Someone put that...
Amazing. There we go. On that bombshell, I'm off to get the lube and prepare for the next show. Give this video a thumbs up. Subscribe to the Ball Street channel.
Old men,
Subscribe to Toffee TV. Listen to the Fighting Cock podcast, and of course the Long Ball Street podcast as well, and the Villa View and the Red Men TV. And don't forget Deadline Day. How could you? Coming up Tuesday night, live from
Ball Street.
7:30, 7 p.m.
Not
7
Liverpool.
Not from here. Anyway, tune into the Ball Street channel live on Deadline Day. It's going to be amazing.